All right, thank you guys for joining us here once again on Title Match Network. We're here in Weatherford, Texas, right outside of Dallas with a special one-on-one interview with the legendary Black Bart. Black Bart, thank you for having us.
You know, Teddy, you come out here and you're calling me on the phone and you're trying to find out where old Black Bart lives, and you finally get here about, I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning waiting on you, but you finally get here around 2 o'clock, and that's not too bad, knowing that old Mike Davis said to his knowledge, he said, Bart, they have to pump sunlight into you out here to get it to you. I said, yeah, Mike, I kind of like living out in the sticks. But I tell you what, we're going to do this. We're going to try to get it all done and get it all in right here on the 300-acre ranch of old Black Bart. Actually, it's about 3 acres, but it's all right. It don't matter. Don't tell nobody. Shh. Go ahead, brother.
You were working in the NWA as Rick Harris. Like in April of '81, for instance, you have a match against Ric Flair on TV before he won his first NWA title.
It was a big deal to me because I was still, I guess I was still a, I don't want to call myself a mark. It was a big deal to me because I was getting it, they thought enough of me to put me against Ric Flair. And we knew, all the guys in the territory knew, that this was a guy that was being polished to be our world heavyweight champion. This is the guy that they're putting all the TV time in. They're putting all the 8x10 picture sales, the T-shirts, the hats, the all that wrestling figures, and that's where it's all going. You know, we didn't realize it was going to blow up like it did, but we knew, and it was an honor for me for the powers to be, which was Jim Crockett Jr. and his sister and his one brother. Jackie was the black sheep of the family. He was a camera operator. That's what he done. But he still got his cut of the office. That was the NWA back then, but and Miss Crockett was still alive too, but it was such an honor to and then to get in the ring and have a good match with him and see it. You know, I said, dang, you know, maybe I have got a little bit of potential. If I can have a match with him, I might be able to have a match with anybody, and pretty much I could. But yeah, it was a great honor to get in the ring with Flair like that. But you know, and as time goes on, there's certain things. As time goes on, things change, and I started getting pushed, and Ric Flair went on, and he was 14-time world heavyweight champion, and that's like you want to puke. But the thing about Flair is this, and I'm going to go ahead and get this dig in right now, is Flair, and I you probably got questions about this. Flair is one of the reasons that I had to leave WCW as soon as I did.
In the 90s,
in the 90s, after it was before Big Train Bart, but it was. I'm trying to think of something. It was, I don't know exact date, but it was like about 8 years before Big Train Bart, when you seen Big Train Bart doing jobs back on Atlanta TV. Anyway, we'd done the Desperado gimmick, me and Randy Colley, and I want to get this in. And one reason I wanted to bring this up is I thought Randy Colley had died, okay, like 10 years ago. Well, it weren't so. I was on Facebook and I looked down there and they say they're taking. It was like on December the 14th. Yeah. This is December the 29th. They said, I think it's his son was writing this or some said they're rolling Daddy in right now to take his leg off. And I said, man, I thought Randy was dead. I thought he was dead. I thought he was gone. I want to get this in for Randy. And then on the 23rd or 24th, I go over there on my site, and it says he's talking about his daddy again, and it says his daddy died. Randy Colley died, and I just, I said, I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to speak with Randy, but I missed it again. I loved Randy with all my heart. But anyway, he was Dead-Eye Dick in the Desperados. Dutch Mantell was the other guy, and we go out and we're looking for Stan Hansen. That's just a gimmick, okay? Stan Hansen didn't have nothing to do with none of it, other than he said we could use his name because me and Stan was pretty good friends. But he said, anyway, it was aired on TBS 90 minutes, and then it was supposed to be sold to Fox Network, which Fox Network at the time was just starting. They was just getting rolling, brother, and now they're huge. But it was supposed to be sold as a sitcom to Fox Network. Well, Ric Flair, my good friend, Ric Flair, goes to Ted Turner and tells Ted, you give those three jabronis all that TV time, and you give your world champion none. We were supposed to sign contracts with them. They didn't sign their contract. They was mad about the money. They offered them very little money. It was good money to me. Okay, so I'm staying. I done got my 20 years up there. I'm not going nowhere, brother. I'm saying right here. Okay, if it's $80,000, if it's $100,000 a year, whatever it is, I'll sign it. Here I am. I'm not going nowhere. Yeah. Well, shortly, the deal with for me to come home come up, and not. That's another story. But Ric Flair slit old Bart's throat, and I forgive him, but I ain't forgot about it. And I'll never forget it.
The deal got axed because he
went to Ted Turner, told Ted Turner to take us off the air, or he was walking, pretty much.
Was your relationship good with him up to that point?
Up to that point, yeah. Business, when it comes to business and wrestling, there's no friends, brother. That's what you got to understand. There's no friends in the wrestling business. It's how deep can I stick it in you, or how deep are you going to stick it into me? And then when it comes my turn, how hard am I going to twist it, or how hard am I going to pound you? And that's the way it was. And we accepted that. I accepted that. I understood. But what got me is he never lost any TV time because of us. He had TBS was one of the first 2 or 3 hour program, 2 hour program, I think. It was unheard of. He always had at least 30-minute segment was for Ric Flair, and everybody else got 5, 6 minutes, 4 minutes as it sprinkled down. But I love Flair, and he probably is one of the greatest talkers in the business. But then again, I rate myself way up here, not very far from him. And they said, Bart, you can't put your name in the same name with Ric Flair. The hell I can't. I was world heavyweight champion too. I was world tag team champions and all over the world. It don't matter how good you are. It's how many people do you got to step on to get up that ladder. You don't have to step on none. And I'm living proof. You don't have to step on nobody. You don't have to hurt nobody, because you can do it right. If you do it right, when you get up there, and even on the way, and it's always said, the people going up that ladder that you step on are the same people when you coming down that dadgum ladder. Them the same people you're gonna meet. And I'm telling you, when you're talking about Frank Brody, you're talking about Buzz Sawyer, and Buzz isn't Buzz, not Buzz, but no, Buzz, the dude out in the Carolinas Buzz Taylor.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah.
I wrestled him, brother, and we tore the place down. Flair, back to Flair. I'm going back to Flair. It's just I love him to death, but you can't put these over your friends. You can't put these. Okay, back when you toted these in your bags, back when you toted these in your bags, it all it meant to us was it tore our bags up, and that's terrible. That's terrible because this is prestigious. This is what all the guys work their butts off to have and to hold and to say I was a world heavyweight champion in anything, it means now they sell now at the football games they got them on the sidelines passing them from guy to guy to guy, and it's kind of like what happened. These used to mean something. Now, brother, they have no meaning. They have no meaning to me. Flair, working with Flair at that time you're talking about, It was a great, great honor. And anytime Flair's around, I'll tell him straight to his face, and I'll hug his neck, and I'll give him a big old kiss right on the mouth. I love him to death. Okay, he is my working companion. He's my friend. Because I still remember what my friend done to me when he didn't have to do that. But anyway, enough about that. Go ahead. Nick, give me none.
You wrestled Flair in April of '81, and then I realized you wrestled Dusty as well in June of '81. Was your role essentially to make them both look good on the way up to the mountain, so to speak?
With Dusty Rhodes, he didn't need me to make him look good. But this is what Dusty done. I know there's some bad stories out there about Dusty Rhodes, but Dusty was he created Black Bart. He created and called me to come to his territory and be Black Bart. And ever since I done that, I pick up the phone, I need to go somewhere or all the way around the world. Pick up, hey, this Bart. Hey, Bart, yeah, come on, Bart. Come on, brother. Come on. And it's that and being booked, at that time, and that of the wrestling, there was places you could go and actually make a good living. We used to go to Japan, brother, and bring home $20,000, $30,000 for 3 or 4 weeks. Unheard of. The guys went over there and started getting $500. Say, I'll do it for $500. You don't have to pay these guys $5,000. I'll do it for $500. Well, guess what happened? Now nobody can go over there and make a living. But here again, I don't know if that's in your, but that's a little twist on the Japan. Why don't you go to Japan and make a good living? Because it don't pay no more. It's gone. They don't pay no more. But you turn. See, Dusty Rhodes didn't need no career. He didn't need no. He was already oozing out with charisma, and Dusty was my creator. He created me, So a story about Dusty right quick. We went up into West Virginia at some it was a spot show, but Sawyer Brown had played the Saturday weekend before us. Now Sawyer Brown was a big deal up in West Virginia, brother, trust me. And it was some kind of watermelon festival or whatever they done, but me and Dusty went in there as the main event on a spot show and put more money and more people into cheers than Sawyer Brown. It was over. It was over. But as far as and it was, and the son of the plumber, brother, was one of the guys that when I remember him when I was smaller. Okay. And I remember him with nothing but honor and grace, and I love him, and I love his family. He has never done nothing. He done one thing that I disagree with me. When I had the long hair, and it takes a long time to grow a full beard. Mm-hmm. It takes a long time to grow a whole head of hair, even when I could, okay? Dusty walked up to me at the ending part of my career. I still had another 10 years to go, but he said, Bart, when you gonna grow up? When you gonna cut your hair and be a man? And I said, you the one told me to grow it long, you silly sapsucker. And you know, I went to my apartment in Charlotte, and I zipped I hated long hair. Always have hated long hair. This is the way I keep Bart now. This is what you just get up, kind of shake off when you get up, shake it a little bit, and you're done. You're good. You don't have to go brush or none of all that. Yeah, and the little under here, you know, it's okay. Don't even worry about that, because I ain't got no hair under here neither. Go ahead, give me another one, brother.
I wanted to just mention, this is right around the time when Tommy Rich had got the title for that short time.
Oh, Tommy Rich.
What do you remember about this time, how that happened? Do you remember much about this?
Maybe too much. I don't know. Tommy Rich was nice guy. God, what a nice guy. Tommy was, and I guess he's still alive, so he could probably see this. You ain't got to worry. I'm not going to candy coat it. He was a drunk, and I'll repeat that. He was a drunk, and he seen more importance about pouring it this way than taking one of these and putting it this way. You understand what I'm saying? He was a drunk, and he couldn't help it. You know, he pretty much he let it. He just drank it away. You know, he just drank it away. They was going the limit with him too, boy. They loved that voice. They loved that tone of voice that he had. They loved he could work. That was a plus. He could work. But yeah, super nice guy. Super kid. I guess kid. I call him kid. He's probably the same age I am. But he is. Think about it, man. You could see, and he held the belt for a little while, didn't he? And
I think he had that short reign.
Yeah, short. It was very short because he stayed. We all stayed drunk. I'm a drunk. I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not. I don't drink no more. I ain't drinking 7 years. I ain't had no dip, and I ain't had no alcohol, none. The only alcohol you'll find is a little bottle right up there somewhere that my brother-in-law gave me just for when get a bad cough. It's a little bottle like that, about that big around. Tommy was all alcoholics. But there was a time to drink, and there was a time to go to the ring and perform. And if you got them mixed up, it bit you in the butt every time, bro. Every time. It bite you in the butt.
Rock and roll.
I thought it was interesting. You wrestled The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson.
Oh, my God. Rocky Johnson.
Yes.
Rock's dad was training me, okay? I'm talking about from scratch now. And Rocky put me with a seal that on a slab of concrete out in a driveway. And he was having this, and I didn't know nothing. I didn't know what a overhead wrist lock from a hammer lock I didn't know none of that. Well, he puts me out there, and this big dude is slamming me he's suplexing me, he's sidewalk slamming me, really, on this slab of concrete. And this guy, I keep coming back, what he's trying to do is run me off. Get it out of my mind. Mm-hmm. Make me hurt so bad, I don't want to do it no more. But I kept coming back. Finally, he said it would be like $7,500 or $8,000. I had to pay him. I said, well, Mr. Johnson, if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't want to be a professional wrestler. And I never looked back, brother. I never looked back. Shortly after that, I got with well, I can't remember the old dude's name, but he's an old dude, and he got me down. He was a car salesman, and plus he worked at the Sportatorium setting up the ring. But he got me in a Boston Crab, and he's going to break my back. I laid down, let him put it on me because I wanted him to train me. But I laid down, and his wife took a chair and knocked him off of it before he broke my back. And my back is broke now, but he didn't do it. But that was my experience with him. But I held the Rock in when he was. I mean, he was in my hands like this right here. I don't live. He wasn't that long. Holding him in my hand. Thought that was, now he's a movie star from the biggest movie star in the business, whatever.
Yeah.
But that was my, and with Rocky Johnson's wife's dad was Peter Maivia. He was the chief of that tribe over there in Hawaii, a big one. They had that arm, the tattoo. He was having the tattooing done, Maivia, and he died from some kind of blood reaction or something to that dye. That's what we heard, and he died. But Miss Maivia, she kept in Hawaii, a territory in Hawaii. Now there ain't no territory in Hawaii. Do you know it? No. We go over there, we go to Hawaii and go over there and go to work if we wanted to, but most of us didn't want to go. But I think Kevin lives over there now, right? Yeah, he lives over there. But Miss Maivia, we did big shows with her through Crockett Promotions, which was WCW, and another original NWA. Said and we would go over there and do shows. Do shows for her, right? And big shows. I mean, big payoffs, nice payoffs. Like nothing like they're getting now, but big payoffs. One of the first ones I went over there, Brody is sitting back there, and I don't know if you ever knew Frank or anything, but me and Frank Brody are like, I mean, we were pards. I fought him as Red River Jack out of the Sportatorium. He lost Loser Leave Town to Abdullah the Butcher, so he just got a white hood put over it, had beard sticking out, all there, same boots, same tie, same everything, right? Same everything, and go to the ring, and he would do something, bam, 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 beat, bam, bam, beat, and then he'd raise his hood up like to show everybody, hey, it's me, it's Frank, and then pull the hood like nobody knew that was Frank, right? I said, God almighty. But I wrestled him as Red River Jack, brother, and we would go to the ring and just try to knock each other out. I mean, for real. I mean, just pound and pound and pound. And we'd go back to the dressing room. He'd do doing them wacky tobacco. I'd sit there with my beer, and I just can't figure out how. And he just can't figure out how to knock this son of a gun out, And we wasn't saying son of a gun neither, but some of my best memories about Rise is Frank. But Frank's sitting back there in a room, and I walk back in there, put my bag down. Frank says, "What are you doing, Bart?" I said, "I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, Frank. How you doing, brother?" So, well, I just knocked the living heck out of something. He had him and I think Waldo Von Erich or something. They got into in the dressing room now, knocked down, drag out, and some reason he thought that he was going to be the one that was told to go back to the airport and leave, but I guess they both stayed, as far as I know. But Frank would, if you was a promoter, you already was a notch against you with Frank. He didn't like him. He didn't want him in the dressing room. And with Dusty, another thing about Dusty was good. He would we would come in, everybody set their bags down, a certain time, everybody had to be there. If you didn't be there, Dusty would fire you. Mm-hmm. Because Dusty run his wrestling group like a football team. Okay, we had team meetings. The owner was not invited into the team meet. It was the owner could come shake your hand, walk around, shake everybody's hand, say hello. As soon as he went to sit down, Dusty would say, "You get your butt out of here. This is my team. This is my team. That's the way it is. Get out." He would tell the owner to hit the skids. And that was good. Another thing that was good about Dusty. But like I say, let's go to the next one.
You had also gone and worked in Mid-South for a while. You worked with guys like Junkyard Dog, Ted DiBiase,
yes.
Dick Murdoch.
Yes.
Louisiana is known to be a tough road schedule.
Yeah.
Did you have that experience? What was it like in Mid-South?
The road, to answer that one, because I want to answer your question. To answer that, the road was no worse than the Carolinas. The Carolinas, brother, was the very worst place to be driving a car around. 5,000 miles a week, 6,000 miles a week, 10,000 miles a week. No problem. It was done. We done it. Now, in Louisiana, it was more, you knew it was a lot of miles, but you knew what you was doing every week, because they didn't have that many towns. But one of the you mentioned Murdoch.
Yes.
Me and Murdoch go way back, brother. I can't believe his son ain't called me, but he may not have my number. But if when I come in as Hangman Rick Harris in Akbar's Devastation Inc. Okay, it was me and one man gang, and there was one or two more. Heck, I don't remember, but my deal was I'm in the ring wrestling on Shreveport TV now. I'm in the ring wrestling Murdoch. We do something to do boom, 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 boom. I got the big noose with real, and it's for real. It really, I've got a gimmick where it ain't supposed to slide. It'll hold maybe 200 or 300 pounds, but it won't hold 475 pounds. But anyway, I wind up, I put the noose around Murdoch's neck and throw him over the top rope. Well, his feet are about that far from the floor, but he still can't get him up he can't hold himself up. So the deal is, one man gang is supposed to come out the dressing room. Now you got to understand, we're up in a loft, and they got a little peek hole, and they're watching out, and they're plus they got a monitor back there, and the gang has got to run down 2 flights of stairs, and then he's got to run about 75 yards to get to that ring. Maybe 50 yards. I'll make that 50 yards. He's blowed up when he gets there. When I mean blowed up, like that, and he just wraps his arms around Murdoch, and he's supposed to make it look like he's pulling down on Murdoch, right? But he's supposed to be picking Murdoch up to take that pressure of that rope off, right? He can't stand up. I look down. I said, "Hey, this ain't happening, brother." He said, "Keep it pop. This is a gimmick. This is an angle." And I see one man gang go down a little bit, and I see Murdoch's head turns about the color of that raised. And I said, "Akbar, we're really killing him." I said, "I don't know what we're going to do." And about that time, gang finally comes up, and we get anyway. We turn loose, and the baby faces come, and they always for a tater, I mean, when you get hit hard or you get damn near choked to death or something happens here, or the receipt that you get may be a week from now, it may be a month from now, it may be 2 years before you finally get that receipt. But brother, you're going to get that receipt. Well, Murdoch had this duffel bag, okay? And he had all kinds of stuff. It had a 6-pack of Coors Light in there, right? And brother, about that next week on TV, he's getting me back, okay? And anyway, we go into the deal, boom, bam, boom, boom. He's got me knocked out or knocked down or something. He goes to get that, he gets that duffel bag, brother, and he hits me with that duffel bag. And I wake up. They drug me back up them, and I wake up in the dressing room at the TV in Shreveport, Louisiana. And Murdoch goes over there, and he says, Bart, I said, Dickie, man, I'm sorry, but it ain't me that should be getting them taters. It's Gang. Well, Murdoch wouldn't jack with Gang, because Gang taking like that, but Murdoch would jack with me, because me and him's good. He said, look, and he gives me a can of Coors that looks like the lid has been in a can opener, okay? And it's just cut right around perfect, like it was been in a can opener. And just somebody popped it and left it a little bit on there to hold the lid on there, right? Uh-huh. I said, how'd you do that? He said, I swung the bag, but your head's what done it. And hit that can, brother. It blew that can perfectly open. Blew it perfectly open, opened up just like I said, man, give me a break. I had a knot right here, boy. I said, yeah, I'll wear this for a couple of weeks, and he laughed. And that was the end of it. But yeah, Shreveport was, I met Ernie Ladd there. Ernie Ladd was Booker. Yep. I met Grizzly Smith there. He was Ernie Ladd's assistant booker, okay? Mm-hmm. And I also met Paul Ellering. You know who Paul Ellering is?
Oh, yeah.
Who's Paul Ellering?
He's the man. He was a wrestler. He was also the manager of the.
Well, he was a wrestler then.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's before the Road Warriors.
Okay.
I had my leg up there for him to come off and do something, and it wasn't it. It was this one. And he was it. I had put him in a side headlock. Okay, had to move back then where you pick the guy up like this. But I'm up here. I'm up on the guy's shoulders where you fall straight back. Well, Paul called that spot, right? He called that, and I said, "Okay, I can do that. I can do that bump. It's a blind bump, but I can do that bump." Mm-hmm. Well, I get up here when I turn loose to take my back bump, right? No, Paul takes and shoots me straight out, right into the ropes. A buggy whip. This leg buggy whips on the top rope, pow, like that, inside down. Just tore this all to hell. And this is the only territory that this, not that I was hurt in, but that Bill Watts was the owner of the Mid-South. And he told me, he said, Bart, you stay here. It wasn't Bart then, he said, Rick, stay here, get surgery done on it, get it fixed, come back. And he paid me like $300 a week to stay right there. Yeah. With a little help from my Cajun friends, it was plenty of money to make it. That I did. But also brought up, I met Ernie Ladd.
Yes.
One of the nicest guys I ever met in my life. First time I ever seen any man use a butter knife to shave his beard. Really? To shave butter knife, but it's some kind of special stuff that you put on real coarse hair, and then it just takes with a butter knife. Dangest thing I ever seen. I met Grizzly Smith there, and I also met his son Sam Houston. Yeah. But the Sam Houston was a mechanic. All right, when we'd break down, he'd come fix our cars and get us back on as quick as it. Well, we wouldn't make all the shots, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what Sam Houston, I think his real name's Michael, yeah, something like that. But he turned out to be one of the greatest babyface workers I ever been in the ring with, brother. But his daddy, Grizzly, was good to me. He treated me good. I knew Jake real well, and I didn't know he had a daughter at the time, but he had a daughter that also went to WWF too. She danced to the ring like Sam did when he was up there. But yeah, I love being in a territory, in that kind of a territory. You know, I don't know if there's another one that was Pensacola, Florida. Fuller's owned it, and Bob Armstrong was the booker, and that's another I call that was heaven on earth to me down there. And we can get in that later if we don't. Yeah. You know, but I wanted to get that in. If you ever want to go to heaven on earth, go to Pensacola, Florida. Go to the beach and just stand there and look at the sand. And it's pure white sand, you know, and it's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Whatever. Like, get in there, like, give me some more.
You're talking about Ernie Ladd, and I saw that there was a match that Ernie Ladd was with JYD, and you were with the Assassin. Do you remember anything about this?
Yeah, I remember Cuban Assassin, maybe one of Bill Alfonso's brother. Yeah, we made some trips in Florida together too. Need to say that they loved hunting alligators, man, and they didn't do it legal. But I am. Who was the other? Who was Ernie's partner?
It was Junkyard Dog.
JYD.
Yeah,
I remember JYD. JYD was the first wrestler of any color, white, pink, or purple, to make $5,000 a week. He was making at that time right there that you're talking about. He was making $5,000 a week, guaranteed. Didn't have to get in the ring. Didn't have to do nothing. All he had to do was be Junkyard Dog. With guys, oh man, with guys like that, it was you had to take him by the hand. You had to lead him through the whole match. You had to tell him everything to do. You had to tell him when to throw a punch. You had to tell him when to make a comeback. You had to tell him when not to slow down, sell this, slow down, sell. Nicest guy you ever want to meet, but this I can explain it better. I'm gonna jump to a story about the Superman, Tony Atlas.
Yes.
Okay, this was a time I was here on vacation, and Tony Atlas they were pushing Tony Atlas at the Sportatorium. George Scott was the booker, and he told Tony, he said, I want you to go to the ring and shine. I want you to go to the ring and shine, man, shine. And I'm putting you against Black Bart, and he can make you shine. Listen to it. So Tony goes back in the dressing room, and he's looking for something, looking. The dressing room's about the big as my living room right here. But guys sitting there, so he's going around and asking everybody for baby lotion. Baby lotion. Every guy in there, he asked for baby lotion. You know, you put that crap on, and whatever you pick up off that mat, it gets on the guy that you're wrestling. Okay? If it's grit, if it's somebody's slobber, whatever, you're going to get it. More especially if you got dry skin. If you ain't got no baby oil on. But anyway, and you can't hold. It's like holding on to trying to hold on to a wet noodle. You can't do nothing. So finally, somebody asked and said, Tony, what do you want baby oil for? You don't ever wear baby oil. You know that. You don't ever wear baby oil to the ring. What's wrong with you? Can't get a hoe? Can't do this? No, brother, you don't understand. Now remember, the mindset are the same. He said, no, brother. Mr. Scott told me to go to the ring and shine. So he's going to put baby on to shine. You understand what I'm saying?
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I said, Tony, one tackle, drop down, arm drag, drop kick. I scoot, back in the ring, back to the same stuff like that. I'm going to make you shine. See, I get my baby oil on, I can shine like the boss man told me to shine. Okay, brother, go for it. But and you know, JYD was and super nice guys, but some, you know, and they make. But Brother Tony goes in, and all he has to do now is he's got a word. He's damn, or is that another one? Is that Ron Simmons?
Oh yeah.
He says damn.
Damn. Yeah.
You say something, he says damn. That's his gimmick. That's what. But you understand where I'm going? I'm going to shine. Damn. And one more I want to say is I have met him here before, which was a grappler. Yeah. Which was Len Denton, and me and Lenny was drinking buddies, and I think I come in down there. He was already there, and
was this before he was in Portland? And
this was he. I think he come out of Portland. No, he come out of. I think he come out of Sportatorium.
Oh, okay.
To go to Mid-South and started in Mid-South with Irwin, not Scott Irwin, Big Hog Irwin.
Bill Irwin?
No, not Bill. Bill Irwin's got a brother. His name was Hog Irwin. He wrestled out under a hood at Super Destroyer.
Yes. Super
Destroyer had a star right here. Super Destroyer. But me and Denton, like I said, was good friends, brother, and we tore that place apart, man. I'm not gonna. I don't know if I want to tell that story or not, but you know, I got big ears, and the deal was MICKEYMOUSE, Mickey Mouse. He was ribbing me about my ears, and he told me he could sing better than George Jones. And I said, "You can sing better than George Jones?" He says, "Yes." Here, listen to this tape. Plugged it in. Was George Jones singing, but Len Denton saying, "That's me. That ain't George Jones. That's me." And I said, "Oh, you big old liar, son of a..." And all the way there and all the way back. I love George Jones. We listened to George, but it was Lenny singing, not George Jones. Okay? And all the tapes has got his George Jones on it, but no, I don't. And he wouldn't let it alone. He was doing the singing, and we get drunk and everything, and carry on. We left. We left there and went to back to the Carolinas. Mm-hmm. He was shortly in behind me out there. And we had a short trip one night. I don't remember all the details, but we had a short trip, and we got to get like a case or 2 cases, 3 cases of beer on the way back, and we decided we're going to go to a club. So we go to the club, and I think this was before I was married, but they got a dance concert going on in this club. Well, I'm already 14 sheets in the wind. Then Denton comes up to me and says, "I ain't got nobody in here that can win this contest." I said, "I can win any contest they got going on in this club or any time in Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't matter to me." And he said, "You're in." He signed me in the contest. And I'm out there, and I was just playing. We would get to the semi, and then we're going into the finals. And I'm still in it. And before the final dance, I'm out there dancing. I do something, and I split my britches, brother, from my crotch all the way to my belt loop. And I mean, why? I got underwear on, thank God. But my whole, this is. Oh, I said, I can't get up. He said, "Why can't you get up?" I said, my britches are busted, Lenny. He said, "You liar." And I said, "Well, look." Then I turned around and showed him. He said, "Well, you busted your britches." I said, "Yeah, they're busted wide open. I can't go back out there on that dance floor." He said, "I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back." So he runs out to the back of the car, reaches, and he gets a towel. Okay? And this dadgum towel has got the biggest red roses. Oh, that guy says, "Here, wrap this around you." And I go out there on the dance floor with the rose towel, and tied it around my waist, and I didn't win, to say the least, but he thought it was pretty damn funny. Me out there dancing a red rose towel wrapped around my butt. And that's coffee in the cup. That ain't to keep the throat from not itching.
Which is a few days away from New Year's. We're almost in 2020. There was something that you did on New Year's Day several years back. You wrestled Andre the Giant.
Oh, man.
What do you remember about this match, and what was that like? Take us back to
Okay, well, Andre was a boy. He's all by himself in the league, all by himself. And I had wrestled him. I tell you, I don't know if this was my first match ever that I wrestled, because I wrestled him about 8 or 9 times. But if this was the first one, this happened in the first match. He backs me into the rope and he chops me, gives me an open hand chop, but I don't feel it. So I was young, and if you sold something that you didn't feel, didn't look good, then they would fire you. Okay, I didn't sell it. I didn't sell it, brother. And then the next time, he rocked, backed me, pushed me in them ropes, and when he hit me, brother, it was like I'd been hit by a truck. And I walked around for 2 weeks with his hand print whelped up on my chest about that. And every time I would, if he walked by me in the dressing room, I would sit down, or I would lay down, or if I had room, I'd just take a flat back bump, because I did not want that big son of a gun hitting me again, because I thought he broke every rib in my chest. But Andre, after that, and I think I come up, I made a comeback on, I done something, I made a comeback on him, I backed him in the ropes, and I chopped him as hard as I could chop him. It was like that wasn't nothing to him, and he thought that was funny, and I tried to stand up to him. He could have just took, you would have been done,
And you're 6'4".
I'm 6'4", 375 pounds, in shape, not out of shape, in shape. And boy, he after that, me and him, another thing that helped me out against Andre was Andre loved Lenny Denton, and he knew that Lenny Denton was my good friend, so that helped me in that, because in the Louisiana territory that we was just talking about, when Andre was there, he knew that Len Denton was with me, because me and Lenton split a trailer, split a room, and he knew that I knew where Len Denton was. Okay, if I wasn't with him, so he would come to my trailer and get Len Denton. One day, brother, he come at Len Denton. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Boom, 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 boom on my front door. I open the door now. There's a porch, and then there's a floor. I mean, there's a porch, and then there's a ground. Step off in the ground, right? Mm-hmm. Just like you just come in out there. But Andre's on the ground. He ain't up on the porch, knocking on my front door. I went, what? I opened the door, and I'm looking eyeball to eyeball with Andre the Giant. I'm 6'4". And I said, Andre, what are you doing at 3 o'clock in the morning out here? And I said, have you seen Len Denton, boss? And I said, yeah, he's right in there. Boy, he come up them steps in that door. Brother, he grabbed the bottom of Len Denton's bed, and he put it straight up in the air, just like this, and he flipped it in the air. Len Denton hits the floor, whop! You hear him flop that floor, and that bed, all the bed, the posts, the metals, everything, right down on top of Len Denton, and Len Denton's going, and he looked, oh, it's you, boss. He said, yeah, boss, now we go party, and there we was right back out in the club. The good thing about Louisiana, the bars don't close. That's why Andre liked it there so much, because Andre, he drank constantly. He never, ever quit drinking. He drank from the time he got up to the time he went to bed. So if he could figure out a way, he'd just done it in his sleep. Matter of fact, I don't think he slept a lot. I don't think he stepped a lot at all. But yeah, me and Andre, after our first encounter in the ring, we become very beer drinking friends.
What's it like to drink with Andre the Giant?
Brother, we drink in a regular mug, which, a mug of beer is pretty good. He would take that mug and order pitchers, the pitchers of beer. He would take the first 2 or 3, he would take that mug and drop down inside the pitcher of beer, and he would drink from the pitcher. That's the way he drank beer. Now, when he was in WWE, WWF, he had on his contract, he had three bottles of 3-liter wine. They come in bamboo wrapping, and there would be 3 of them sitting in his dressing room, or where he was wanted to be, wherever he wanted to be. He had certain guys that he liked, and he had certain guys that he didn't like. And you didn't want to be on that non-like list and have to get in the ring with him, because he would beat you. He would beat you to a pulp. Big John Studd. Him and Bass trained together. I trained some, but I didn't do the steroids and the regiment workout. Every day I've got to be in the gym. If Andre don't like you, brother, that would you don't. He got in the ring one time with John Studd and realized, I don't like this guy. The next time, there was, I think, Madison Square Gardens, Andre just started beating the living, what, and John, you could see the expression. I just seen the match when I was at Starrcade. It was on Andre's biography or something. They're showing out in the Carolinas anyway. Mm-hmm. But you see the punch, you see the pound, and you see John's meat. Skin like rolling from being really hit, Yeah. And finally, he just grabs the thing. He just grabs the and hits the skids and leaves. And Vince McMahon said he got to the back, packed his clothes, and left, and nobody's seen him since.
You also wrestled. Before Bruce Beefcake was Bruce Beefcake, was Dizzy Hogan.
Yes.
And it seemed like you had a lot of matches with him. What was your experience here?
Well, I met Dez. I met him out in Pensacola. I think that's where he was. He was from Pensacola, I think. That's where he started. Anyway, that's where they would come to Bullet Bob and want to have matches, and he wouldn't use them. I'm going back before. Heck, I think this was even before Hogan was Hogan. This was before that, because they just put the Alabama heavyweight strap on me. It's the first belt that I ever got. Bob Armstrong put it on me, and Fuller's put it on me. They were the owners. Bob was the booker, but. And I may be wrong, but brother, they said, I want you to go to the ring, and I want you to beat the living fire out of this guy, just put the belt on the table there and pack your bags and leave. So okay, I think I can. I'll try my best. I was Man Mountain Harris at the time, and I went out there. This little skinny guy, he's about 6'5". 6'6", the skinny guy, and I pounded him, told him I was sorry, pounded him, pinned him, beat him up pretty much like I was told, and pinned him 1, 2, 3, and went home. And about 8 years later, I turned on the Deadgum TV, and there's that little skinny guy on TV carrying the WWE heavyweight belt, and it's Hulk Hogan. And I said, no, if I ever have to go up there, boy, I'm gonna have to face that one. I know. Yeah. But when I did go up there, Terry would, how you doing, brother? Yeah, fine, man, fine. But with Beefcakes, and I'm sure we'll get to the match with this was long time in his career when he was with Bass and he lost the hair match.
Yes.
And is that the story you're digging for, or?
I was going for that too, but if you want to go for it now.
But no, I want to. There was a couple of instances in there that I didn't think a whole lot about Beefcakes, but he turned. If Bass worked with him, he must have turned out to be a pretty good worker. And that's the good. That's what we all strive for, is to be the very best workers that we can be. But I can't remember the guy that I was in a scrap with down there. Not a scrap, but an angle for that heavyweight belt. He was a drunk. Stayed drunk all the dadgum time. Man, what was his name? I won the belt from him. That was you. I know you probably wasn't even born yet, brother. I mean, if you know your history, but anyway, we done something that somebody, some of my hair got pulled out, or somebody else. Beefcake saying something about if somebody pulled his hair out like that he would whoop their ass, and I said surely he's not talking about me. And he was. I had pulled out, the guy was getting up, and I was standing on his hair, and I didn't know I was standing on his hair, and he got up anyway. Pulled out a big chunk of his hair. He was drunk, And I said, brother, I'll tear you up like a sow's bed. No, what are you talking? What? That was all. He didn't say no more. Then he goes up, and he leaves, and I go a different direction, and he goes another direction. But he winds up with my partner in WWF, and they do a whole angle up there. And I stayed out in the Carolinas, and like I said, I spent 20 years out there. But anyway, the deal was that Bass and him had a hair match. Bass lost a hair match. It's the last you seen of Bass. When they shaved his head, you didn't see Bass no more. Yeah, Beefcakes. As far as I know, me and him were good friends. Me and Terry's good friends. And hopefully we'll stay that way. Yeah. You can't never tell about this business. I'm telling you, man.
You wrestled with Roddy Piper.
Oh man. Well, I didn't just wrestle. I didn't wrestle Piper. I was his sidekick. I was his. Len Denton was his sidekick. Len Denton was very, very tight. Me and Piper. He was on top. He was on top. Greg Valentine, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ricky Steamboat. This was before Dusty come back to the Carolinas. But me and Piper. In Charlotte, we lived at the Days Inn. Well, I was on the bottom apartment. Piper was on the one right above me. One of the first rides we ever rode together. This was Piper giving a greenhorn a ride. That's what it boiled down to. Piper goes around front because we got to wait. We're waiting on Greg the Hammer Valentine to come to meet us and to ride with us or something. But Bonnie, my wife, not at this time. She come walking out the restaurant at the Days Inn. I never laid eyes on her, and I didn't know nothing about her. And I said, "Piper, you see that girl right there?" He said, "Yeah, that's the girl that's going to have my kids. I'll marry her, and that's going to be my wife." He said, "Oh yeah, You think so, huh? I said, yeah, I know so. I know so. And she, at the time, she was in love with Piper. I didn't know it. I didn't know it. Piper, it was Piper's girlfriend.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. And so, but it was like, you know, Piper had plenty of girlfriends, you know. So he told me, he said, come here, I need to talk to you, boy. So he straightened me up, and he said, you want that girl, me and him worked a program on Bonnie to make her like me, just like me. She threw me out of her apartment. She threw me out of her days when she'd get a room at Days Inn. I went down there stopping, drunken out of the slobber, running all out of them. This drunker and this, come on, baby, you come on. And no, boy, she'd throw my ass out of there so quick. But yeah, me and Piper worked the angle on that girl, and with 2 months she moved in with me. And I think 2 months later I married her. And we did stuff like she had this little dog. And Piper hated this little dog. He hated that dog with passion. So this was right up his alley. That little dog would come up. Piper started kicking at that dog. And I was 6'4". I was bigger than Piper. He said, I'd get out there and say, Piper, leave that dog alone. I'm gonna stomp mud hole in you. I'm gonna stomp it dry, boy. And then Piper would, yeah, come on. And I said, well, and we done this back and forth. I mean, and finally Bonnie moved in with me. And 2 months later, I married her, and we was married for 26 years, had 2 kids, my son and my daughter up there. Yeah, they me and Piper, and but it snowed on it, and I know you probably what I mean when I say snow. It snowed on Piper a lot. Yeah. Piper loved his cocaine, and everybody that knew him knew it. And if you was around Piper, you did it, or you wouldn't, or he wouldn't let you back in it. If you didn't do it, he wouldn't let you back in the car with him. It's just the way it was. He didn't do it because he figured if you was doing it, you wasn't gonna stooge on him. That way he wouldn't say, hey, he was doing it too. So watch it. You're cool. Yes, there you go. Everything's cool. Everything just like the Briscoes. Mm-hmm. The Briscoes. When you get in the car with the Briscoes, they were up there at the same time. Mm-hmm. You get in to do a ride with Briscoe in the back seat. They'd have a cooler packed in the middle of the seat, a Lincoln Town car or one of them big Cadillacs. Cooler in the front, mm-hmm. packed full of beer. Ever have them, and a big doobie sitting in the seat about that right there. Yeah. Twisted on both ends, of course. That a cigar. Brother, I didn't smoke nothing, and I love the Briscoes was another that I growed up watching. Right. Yeah. And I wanted to fit in, man. And I tried, and I coughed, and I gagged, and I coughed. Kevin Sullivan, he got me, and I said, let me try them. So me and Kevin's right, and I start coughing. I said, pull over. I gotta puke. And brother, I get out and I puke all down around to the back of the Cadillac. And now I'm like this on the back of that Cadillac, puking right on the ground, right? And out of nowhere, that little short Kevin Sullivan come running around that Cadillac. And he starts smashing and screaming, hollering, pew. I mean, boom. Got in the car, laughing our butts off, laughing. I couldn't do it, okay. Kevin said, "I'm gonna show you." And this is another reason I brought this. Yeah. He said, "The next trip, I'm gonna take care of it." I said, "Okay, bro. Well, we got to go the next night." So, and I keep looking over between his legs. He's got this glass thing. It's about that big around. It's about that tall. Got a little thing sticking up on the side, like, you know what I'm talking about? It's called a bong. Yeah. I ain't never seen one in my life. You understand what I'm saying? I said, what the? I'm driving, but I'm watching Kevin out of my eye too. And he finally puts some packs in that little pipe thing and lights it, and you hear the water going. And you see that smoke building up. He let go of that little trigger down, whatever, and he, like that. And he, oh no! I said, what was that? I ain't never seen one, you know. I said, brother, no, I gotta try that. And I'm pulling over. You drive. I pull over, get over there, brother. And how did I do it? And put it on there, and boom. And finally I get it, and this. And he said, now. And that hit me, brother. And it was like, oh no! And it's like instant. I'm telling him. And he says, "You gonna puke?" I said, "Yeah, let's get over." And I open that door and I start puking. I work my way back to there. And here he comes, brother. And he says, and jump back in the car and haul. Oh man, unbelievable. But wow, Piper. The drugs. You got to know when to say when, brother. With Piper, we sit down in Piper's car, and he got the little valves with him, and he sticks a key down in the little valve, and he says, "Open your mouth." And you go, and he blows it, and it's like, I've never in my life had cocaine. Didn't even know what cocaine looked like. Didn't know what it smelled like. Didn't know what it done to you. But I found out the hard way, brother. And by the end of that trip, I'm begging him. We go to Greensboro, South Carolina. I can't remember who I'm wrestling. I'm wrestling somebody, and it's kind of in an angle because we're going like 20 or 30 minutes. And we go that 20 or 30 minutes, but I got cotton mouth so dead bad. It's like it's pulling my jaw. I tell, it may have been Manny Fernandez.
Yeah.
I tell Manny to hit me. He hits me. I roll out of the ring. I fall right in this girl's lap, and she's got this big gulp Coke drink, cup of, and I said, she screamed, "Go, go, go!" I says, "I will get back in that ring and go some more if you will give me one swallow of that Coke." She said, "Here," and I sucked down as much as I, boy, right back in that ring I went. And boy, JJ come out there, man. He said, "What are y'all trying to do?" And I said, "Well, I thought we was having a good match." He said, "You're supposed to went home 20 minutes ago, you idiot." I said, "Okay, that's cut." And I've done something, put Manning over 1, 2, 3. It was, heck, it may have been Sam Houston. I don't know. I don't even remember. But I know I had a hell of a time, brother. Hell of a time. That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, Piper was my friend. Yeah, he was my friend, all right.
Did you keep up a lot with him after? Because this is right before he went to New York, too.
Yeah. Well, I went up there with him shortly after.
Right.
He was. I mean, he was doing the stuff up there. He would bring the chainsaw up there. One night he brought the chainsaw, run everybody off out of the something. It seems like we was in the Carolinas for like 2 or 3 years before he left.
Yeah.
I know this was when I first started full time, and I went to the Carolinas, first place I ever went, and this was in 70. I want to say 74, late in 70, maybe early 75, maybe late in 75 is when it was. But anyway, the road trips in the Carolinas, brother. I mean, it's this stack right up, and when you bring a name, I remember that leads to, and then that leads to, and then that leads to, and and plus I'm watching Dallas beat the Redskins. Thank God. Oh, the Piper deal, pretty much when he went up there and just to hit on WWF, when I want to say the top guys didn't relate, didn't have anything to do with the middle of the card guys and the bottom guys and the jobbers. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know if that comes across to everybody.
There were tiers of.
Yeah, it's like cliques, and if you ain't in Bret Hart's clique, or if you ain't in Roddy Piper's clique or the Iron Sheik's clique, then you ain't in the clique, So I'll tell you what, and this build on what we're getting to. And those shows up there, it's all big coliseums. Everywhere you go, they're in a big coliseum. There's giant rooms down there that's just got stuff put in them. Well, I would go in at about 10 o'clock in the morning when everybody else is supposed to be there at 11 or 12, and I would make a mid-shift dressing room. Then I would go get chairs and bring in chairs and put around here and some chairs over there. Well, this was Black Bart's clique. Okay, and everybody was welcome. Dusty would come in there. Flair come in there 2 or 3 times, even though Flair knows the way I feel about him. I love him to death. Mm-hmm. But up there, brother, it's you want to. When I got my notice, I cried. Okay, I cried because it was such a relief of the pressure being brought off of me that when you walk in them buildings, you're like this. You're like this. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're shaking like that. You just shake. You just don't want. If I say something wrong, or if I fart the wrong way, or if I look at the wrong guy, and then you got the gay thing, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. But if there was I'm thinking about Piper. One of the things that he had warrants out for him in almost every county up there. Okay, we went to one county, Fayetteville. I don't know what county it is, but we wrestled in a big football field, stadium, and we dress over here, and the baby faces in this motel, and Hills are over here in this other motel, but they come get you in a car and drive you over there, right? Mm-hmm. And then when your match is done, they come and get the other match. Boom, they go back and forth for the whole night. Piper's against, I guess, Greg the Hammer Valentine or something like that. But Piper's in. It is. We're all in this, and Piper's right here. But Piper spent most of the time over here because they're coming over there looking for him, the cops. Mm-hmm. So they come over there and they knock on the door. And they call him by name. Say, we don't know nobody by that name. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And he said, no, we don't know no Roddy Piper either. And he's under the bed, brother. Go get we didn't do that. He said anyway, we me and Piper and Gene Lewis, I think Charlie Fulton. I think that's the car. That's the ones in the car. Mm-hmm. And on them dadgum, Piper had a Lincoln Town car. It's got a button that you open the thing and push the button, and the trunk pops open, right? Uh-huh. So we go. They come get Piper, carry Piper over there. They get him over to the ring real quick. He gets in there. He's wrestling, and we go over to his room, pack all of his stuff in his bag, get everything, boom, get it in the car. We're all dressed. We go over and park right there. And when that bell rings, brother, I'm back in that Lincoln right up to that ring. Piper just steps in the trunk, pulls the trunk down over him. We take off. We're gone. The trunk. We're gone. Yeah, because we get paid by check. You don't wait for your money. You get paid by check every week. Mm-hmm. So Piper's locked in the trunk.
You're the getaway driver,
brother. No. You got to understand something. The Carolinas is cold.
Oh my God. Yeah.
This is dead winter. This is during football season. It's Piper's in Piper's in the trunk, and we said, well, it's time to mess with Mr. Piper. Payback is hell. So about an hour and a half down the road. Now, we're supposed to go to the first store, pull over, let him out. We hear boom, 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 kicking crap back there, rolling around, and finally he settles down. I said, "I'm thinking, Piper, he's going to do something. I don't know what." But we get going. I said, I think Gene told me. He said, "Crank this thing, get up about 75." You know, speed limit back then was I think 55 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we're in the I said, I'll try, but I get going pretty good. And he said, "Okay, pop the trunk." Brother, he can't jump out. You know, he ain't Superman. So we popped that trunk. He's in his tights and his wrestling boots and a pair of knee pads. Yeah, I said, keep going. We must have drove like, and wonder, the cops didn't pull us over and throw us under the jail. But I guarantee you, I drive that, that trunk is beating it because the wind is, you can hear that trunk hitting him. He said, "The red hairs, I'm gonna kill you." I said, "They're making me do it. Pipes are making me do it." And finally we pulled over. Or Greg, I think Greg pulled up behind us. Or Greg the Hammer and them pulled up at the baby faces or the whatever it was. I don't know. It was baby faces in the hills back then anyway. Mm-hmm. They pulled up behind us and Piper pulled all his damn clothes off, was mooning them, and we going down the highway 70 miles an hour. He forgive me. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Go ahead, give me another one, brother.
There's one person you had so many brutal matches with. You had taped fists, brass knuckles, a bunkhouse match, a dog collar match. You remember your series of matches with Barry Windham?
Wow, Barry Windham. A lot of people don't remember that. They don't. They see Yellow Dog and Bass, but during the he was also wrestling as Barry Windham. So somebody had to wrestle him as Barry Windham, and somebody had to wrestle him as Yellow Dog. No, he worked twice as a babyface. Mm-hmm. So when the Yellow Dog was wrestling, Barry Windham was wrestling because they didn't want you to think, and they actually tried to cover. They didn't want you to know that the Yellow Dog was Barry Windham, just like they tried to cover up Dusty Rhodes was the Midnight Rider. What the hell? How can you cover up a body like Dusty Rhodes? There's only one. Mm-hmm. The big mold right here, there's only one. And but anyway. Yeah. Barry was God, so different are you sure that wasn't Blackjack Mulligan?
There was a lot you had with him.
Because Mulligan. See me, God, I wrestled Mulligan for the Brass Knucks everything. Brass Knucks, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, West Virginia, Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina. It was Barry was a night off. Barry was, if it was dark, if Barry was the daylight and his daddy was the night.
Really? Polar opposites? Then?
Oh, brother. And and they're both tall, but Barry was slender and skinny. Mulligan was raw bone, just beat your, and he would beat you up if you tick him off. But I pounded him. If he hit me hard, I hit him hard. That's the way it was in the business. But Barry, to me, and after when Barry went up there to WWF, he went. It was like he was the nightmare. No,
Widowmaker.
The Widowmaker, and that was it. That was it. He was done. Where'd he go? That's why. And I've seen picture of him here lately, and he don't even look. I'm sure I don't look like. I don't look like Black Bart, but I am, and I know that was Barry Windham because if you look when you look at somebody that's a character, you can see that Black Bart in me. You can see him in there. I guarantee it. But yeah, Barry was God. He was such a nice guy. One of the stories I remember about Barry was when Billy Jack Haynes was down at Florida, and when we was all in Florida, and Barry is just one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. Well, Blackjack comes in that dressing room. We're sitting in that dress. They get into it.
Billy Jack Haynes
and Barry Windham, and I mean Billy Jack is just opening up. Billy Jack is bad. He was mean, just mean. And I'm thinking, Blackjack's fixing to walk in here, and he's beating the heck out of his son. Other Blackjack just walked in there, put his bag down, sat down, and didn't say a word, nothing. Said, man, I said, kill him. And then seems like when we left Florida, we went back to the Carolinas, and then you didn't see no more. Not a whole bunch of Barry was in the Carolinas either. Barry Windham was. He did the first. He was in the first Four Horsemen, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he was gone.
I know he went to New York with Rotundo for a little bit.
I
know he did the first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I guess he came back later, or
I don't remember if he did. He wasn't around very much, but he was a very, very nice guy. His daddy was a nice super guy. You respected him, or he would beat the respect, and you would have it after the ass whooping, and you would get that respect one way or the other. But I had some tremendous matches with Barry, and loved working with both of them. I didn't mind working with both of them because I liked it stiff. I liked it rough.
Yeah.
I love wrestling. Like I said, go back to Frank, but I love wrestling Frank. Me and Frank go to the ring, try to knock each other out, and then go back to the dressing room and laugh about it. You know, I hit you so hard with that dadgum chair. I hit you harder with that dadgum table than you did me with that chair, you son of a, you know. But anyway, that's the way me and Mulligan was, you know, but not as good of friends as me and Frank was. But unbelievable, brother. I wouldn't. Those matches that I had with Barry, when we were doing that, it was not. It wasn't as a big a deal as a Yellow Dog against Bass. You know, does that? Mm-hmm. I guess that makes sense. Sure. But see, Mike Davis and Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo had they were the tag team holders when it was about a 4-foot trophy. Well, they had to carry it. You had to tear that thing down in little pieces and put it in the back of your trunk to haul it from town to town to town, right? So when we was in Jacksonville, Florida, where me and Bass come in as the Long Riders with J.J. Dillon, we're taking the strap. We're taking the new straps. They get to keep the trophy. We're getting the straps. Yeah. So, but we take the trophy. And I guess we break it down and we go to it goes to the office and I guess they put it in a trophy case or whatever. But Mike Rotundo and Mike Davis were pissed because they had to haul that trophy around for like a year. And then when the new belts come in, we got the new belts.
You throw them in your bag?
Yeah, oh yeah. They had their own bag. I got a picture of them dead-gum belts. Looks just like that one. It looks just like that NWA World Strap. Same belt.
you know, this is just a few months before the first WrestleMania. You guys had already done the first Starrcade, so you're kind of on your way. Was there, I want to talk about the match, but was there also like a sense of competition? Did you guys really care what was going on with Vince, or was it you're kind of on your own?
No, brother, we cared. God, we cared. Then if you didn't care about that, then they found out they'd fire your ass. Here again, and not since you brought that up, Vince was on the WCW board of for 10 years before he bought it. 10 years before he bought it out. Okay, he was on the board. I don't silent or what, but he was on the board, and guys were. I don't know if you remember, they were going back and forth like we had an internet highway up to this boom, back and forth. But the thing with me and with we had a good. I mean, he liked it kind of rough. But I like to have a night off just like anybody else. So you get like Ricky Steamboat. Now I'm bringing Steamboat up because Steamboat was a night off. Mm-hmm. You could wrestle Steamboat 30 times in a week, and it'd be like having maybe one match. Okay, as far as bumps, bruises, because he was light as a feather. He was easy. Yeah, whatever you want to do, brother. Whatever you want to do. Manning was kind of the opposite to the way Manny wanted to call some of it, but you let him call a couple of spots, he was fine, you know. So I let him call a couple of spots, and then I called the damn. But that match that you're talking about was sold. That gun place was sold to the rafters, and at that time we had a shot at competing with Vince McMahon and really the same guys that we worked with were working up there. Them guys that was up there come down there. So we was working in the Carolinas with them guys. You understand? Yeah. We all knew each other. We all worked each other. When you scratch my back, I scratch your back. If you hit me like this, I'm going to hit you like that. You know, and that's the way it was. That's the way it was. And you didn't rock the boat. You didn't rock the boat. Manny kind of liked to rock the boat a little bit. He liked to make little ways to get attention. To get attention. In other words, we didn't do spots to get attention from the guys in the back or the promoters or the bookers or whatever. We did spots to impress the fans, the people that meant something, the people that you bring them up and you set them back down. You bring them up and you set them back down. And I was a general at that, brother. I was good at that. And one thing I pride myself on, even to this very day, with my mouth, I can get them here and I can bring them back down. And get them here, set them back down. That's what. But Manny was the I'm gonna tell this story because it's been told, but I'm gonna tell it. We wrestled in North Fork, Virginia. All right, it's a big old Coliseum up there, big nice place.
The Scope.
Well, the Scope. Yeah. It's right there. Water.
Yeah, water.
Right, there's water right there. Anyway, I don't know if it's, but anyway.
It's near Virginia Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
The restaurant at the motel we stay at there's a restaurant, 24-hour restaurant. So we wrestle, take a shower, get dressed, go down. I'm going over to the restaurant, and I'm by myself. I'm top heel, and I'm sitting there eating, and I feel a piece of food hit me from behind. And I look, and I brush it off, and don't think nothing about it. Whop! Another bigger piece hits me. Then another bigger piece, and another bigger piece, and now, it's coming from a table. Looks like 5 or 6 people are sitting there, and I turn and I look, and there's Manning's bouncing food off the back of my head, and I said, brother, I said, them girls right there just watched me and you in a main event. Busted, bleeding, brass knucks, dadgum, knocked down, drag out. Now you're in here bouncing food off the back of my head, and you think that's right? I said, let's go outside. And I got up and walked out. Well, he's taking his time. Manny don't come out there. Because he knows at least he's going to get is a good ass chewing. That's the least he's going to get. So I'm standing out there at the doors waiting. Here comes, they call the cops. So here comes 2 cops. Well, about the time the cops walk up and ask me the question, what's going on? Manning walks out the door, right? Well, no. Manning walks out a little bit before them, and Manning's saying, come on, Bart, what's wrong with you? What's going on, brother? What's? And here comes the cops, and he goes, hey, and I said, do what? I said, you gutless. And I said, no, sir, there ain't a thing wrong. Not one thing's wrong. I'm walking to my room right over there, and here's the key. There's my room number right there. I'm walking right over there, and I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to get out. And that was one of the last things that I had to do with Manny. But even I think he's still doing stuff around here.
Yeah.
Enjoyed wrestling. He was a little cocky, but other than that, he was fine. He was great.
You got to talk about the bull rope match that you had the next year with Ron Bass, your partner. Starrcade '85, which just for the folks at home, I don't know if you've seen this, but this is an original Starrcade '85 VHS tape.
Wow.
Scarcely made, but you're right there. You know, one of the top.
Right on the back, brother. Wow. Old Bass man is dead, man. I can't. It's just, I know he's been gone for, but man, it's hard. There's a lot of guys gone. There's a lot of guys gone on that, brother.
Yeah.
Wow, unbelievable. I had made a suggestion because Dusty won that belt that night, and he had the baby faces hit the ring. I said, why not just have the heels hit the ring and celebrate with you? Because he was just in an angle with Tully and Rick. I mean, that was in the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
He was. Why not? So because we're not. I'm not fighting you. Bass ain't fighting you. But it's like Dusty said. They all know the blood that's built up to this. And I said, you got a point, brother. You got a point. But wouldn't it have been great to see the heels hit the ring and celebrate? With Dusty. It'd been great. They went nuts anyway. It went crazy.
Yeah.
That was one of my most that match, that bull rope match, brother, was I had a lot of bull rope matches up to that point. And we both got sauce. I could not believe that I could have the match that I could have with Bass. I did not believe that the and then JJ taking an ass whooping for 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes, but Bass stomped mud hole in him and then stomped it dry. And I can hear Bass every time I say, oh man, that had to hurt. Oh man, I know that hurt. I'm trying to and then there's nobody there ain't nobody to say, okay, Bart, it's time to come out from underneath the ring. It's gotta be here. You ain't gotta and I come out and I don't know, but I peek, I look first, I peek. And what I'm looking for to make sure they're going, I'm supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. And I think I was a little late on being there, but I wanted to make sure JJ got his a good butt whooping out of that 5 minutes. And I hit the ring. And anyway, JJ gets loose and me and him scoot, and that started started to angle with me and Bass. I could not believe that I could get in the ring with like a man like Bass and have a good match you know, and we did. Well, we did it for a year, and it was, oh man, that was the start of our. We had broke up over the Mid-Atlantic Belt, I believe what it was, and I turned around and lost it to Terry Taylor, I think.
Yeah.
Terry Taylor or Sam Houston, one of them. I lost it to one of them, but then me and Bass supposedly got PO'd at each other after that, and it's when we went in our feud. Here again, if I ain't got it something backwards.
No, it's,
I'm sorry.
oh, you're fine. You mentioned the Road Warriors earlier, talking about some of your early memories with them, because you wrestled them in the beginning, at the height of their career.
Oh, God Almighty!
And singles.
Well, most of I like the part. All the matches I had with them, I like the part where I take a bump, and then I leave, and the guy that I'm winning gets the crap beat out of him. That was my kind of match. Yeah, I didn't have to. Joe Laurinaitis was this tough. Mike was a nice guy, but he had a fuse about that long. And if you lit it, you was in trouble, brother. I don't know if y'all remember when it's called locker room. You put in a little glass, 6-ounce glass of water, and you put like 4 scoops into 6 ounces of water, and then you shotgun it, and it was a drug. It was some kind of, come out like it was like an energy drink. Mm-hmm. Well, it was energy, all right. I see Mike come in the dressing room, sit down in the dressing room. He was put 4 scoops in 6 ounces of water. Well, he had about 4 ounces of water, and he put about 9 scoops. Boom, 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 boom. That stuff was thick as molasses syrup. And he stirred it up. And he sat down, and he's sitting there like this. And you see these veins right here. They start boom, 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 like that. And then he looks at there, he said, Bart. I said, what, Mike? What? I'm going to go kill Vince McMahon. He took off out of there, brother. We don't know where he went, but oh, man. Yeah, do I remember the Road Warriors? Oh, man. They were, God Almighty. I'm sorry, guys, but nobody wanted to work with y'all. More especially in the beginning, because y'all stiff. And they were so nice guys, but you know they didn't come from a nice group. You know, that group up there, they were Minnesota. From out of Minnesota, they were the guys that went and broke your bones if you didn't pay, or if you owed somebody some money, they went and collected, or they brought an arm back with them, or 2 or 3 fingers. That was what they business they were in. Now, I don't know for sure if that's what they done, but I'm sure they was into some kind of collection part of it. I'm sure. I think about, you know, when we first wrestled them, me and Bass first wrestled them, they were in cut off blue jeans and combat boots, and they wore these funky looking shirts to the ring. They took that was their ring jackets. They took them off. Teach them, and we tried, but they wouldn't do it. Them boys, they were dead set, and by the time they damn near killed me and Bass, they took them and they sent them off somewhere. Got Rick Rude out of that same year. Later in that year, we got Rick Rude. He was in a pair of cut off blue jeans and combat boots. At Days Inn, it's the summertime, and at Days Inn they had about a 4-foot fence around the pool. We'd all go down there, more especially if it was off, late in the afternoon, and sit there and and drink beer and play with the girls and chase girls and carry on. And Rick Rude, it's like his second week there, third week there. He's going to show out. He comes hopping along. And he tries to hop over that 4-foot fence. Well, it's that on top. It's got that. It's got that. Those barbs. It ain't bars, but they're, you know, on the regular fence they bend them and they fold them down. But there they don't want you jumping that fence, so they took and raised them points up on that wire, and he hung his nuts and ripped it, and well, I mean, he had to go home, brother, and get sewed up, and he called the office and he said, I had 2 or 3 bottles of steroids, guys, and I mixed them up, and I mixed them up, and I mixed them all up, and I had about 5 or 6. I mixed them up, and I put it all in one shot, and I give my shot, and my testes exploded. I said, God Almighty, your testes exploded. All right, they was hanging on that ball, on that fence around days in. But yeah, they were. Oh man, Rick Rude was something, and he was out of that same group. Warlord come in about the same time. Barbarian come in about the same time, and me and Barbarian best of buddies and still are to this very day.
You tagged a lot too.
Yeah, more especially in Japan. My God, I was worried more about Barbarian knocking me out than my partners. So when he was my tag team partner, the hardest I ever been hit was by Barbarian. No, I'll take it back. The hardest I ever been hit was by Tugboat. Dusty Rhodes' nephew, by marriage or something. Tugboat.
Yeah. From Norfolk.
Oh, yeah, Fred.
Yeah,
Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, man, wow. We're in a, you brought up Barbarian, or did I? Maybe I did, but Barbarian ain't from the Minnesota group, but Barbarian comes in from a complete different thing. Barbarian goes through Japan, has to do training in Japan with the Samoa, with the Japanese fighters and all this, and then he comes back around and he gets. But Barbarian, you got to remember to tell a story on Barbarian. But there's one in Barbarian. We're tagging against I think Big Jaw and the number 2 guy in Japan. You know, we want to look good and all this stuff. And Barbarian said, "Yo, brother, you run him down to the bottom. I'll be standing out here and I'll clothesline him." I said, "You're going to clothesline him. He's got that chain wrapped around, a logger's chain. Now, I ain't talking about no little bitty pea-ball chain. This is a dead-gum 3/4 inch length chain, a 1/2 inch, and he's got it wrapped around them Mungunger's arms of his, and he's just wanting it. And somehow, some way, he goes to hit the Jap ducks. He hits me, hit back here, and out I go. Bam. Hey, brother, my brother. I said, man, you stiff. And we're supposed to be looking good and my partner knocks me out. Now, oh, man. They looked over because they knew what I was dealing with. But, I got so many stories about Barbarian, old Bard, brother. I won't tell half of them, but I can tell the other half. But sooner or later we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
But the Road Warriors were the hardest 2 guys to teach anything that I've ever met in my life, and they would not. It wouldn't take. You could do it, and you could do it, and you could do it, and you could do it. And it wouldn't take. When they went out, they took them off. They took them away from us. And me and Bass said, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord." I mean, whew. But then we get the likes of Steiner's brothers, and we get the likes of. Now, Sting was an exception to the rule, because Sting was, he was like Magnum. Magnum was. We put Magnum over in 30 seconds. We put Magnum over in 15 seconds, brother. He was like the hero had come to save the day. And he's just massacring everybody. Everybody had any kind of heat, any kind of push. When you met him in the ring on TV, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, match over. 1, 2, 3. Goes out and gets stoned and wrap a dadgum Corvette or Stingray or something around the telephone pole 4 blocks from his house. And he's paralyzed from the neck down. And everything we done on TV, down the tubes.
How much did that one night change the course of...
Brother, it changed everything we've done. Every match was led up to Magnum. To Magnum. To Magnum. Dusty Rhodes had to step right back in, take over again. See, when Dusty Rhodes went to Vince McMahon, went to work for Vince McMahon put him with a black woman and put him in polka dots. What does that tell you? Try to kill him like deader than Kelsey's you know what. But they didn't. They just made him stronger. Dusty just took that, brother, and just rammed it right straight up Vince McMahon's cock. Chooky, chook, chook. Now, that's the truth. And the truth will set you free, as my good friend, Brother Truth says. But the deal with the yes, what did that do to a territory that was like all the Von Erichs getting killed at once to that territory up there. It was that bad. Because every TV, everything we was doing was to make Magnum the superstar, to make Magnum the Fritz Von Erich of the Carolinas, to make him, that was the deal. And then, and not only did he can't wrestle, in the beginning he couldn't even talk. He couldn't move. It hurts. You blow your knees, you blow your shoulders, your neck, your back, everything goes. You give it all to wrestling. And what you get back is supposed to be some money for this or some money for that. And that ain't the way it is. That ain't the way it is. You get in the ring, you wrestle because you love wrestling, not because of what you can make or what you can make from wrestling. Because I always say wrestling don't owe me a dadgum thing. I owe everything to wrestling. I don't, brother. I don't. And I say it, and I'll say it 100 times. That wrestling don't owe me nothing. It don't owe me a dime. I owe wrestling, and for the privileges that it give me, not the ones that I give it, because I didn't give it nothing, except my whole body and my whole everything. My family, my kids. I got 2 kids that did. When I come home, brother, I had 3 days off. Well, it took 2 days for them to get to know that, hey, that's their daddy back. And then I'm gone the next day. And then it got to where I'd have 3 days off. I'll be home one day and then flying out the next. That's the way it was. And pretty much the way things are now, if I would have been here raising my kids, then maybe my kids would have turned out a little bit better. Everybody knows my daughter Jesselyn had been in prison. She's been out of prison now a couple of years. And my son goes in. He got out, but he went back in for the same thing he was in there for. So he's going to be gone quite a bit. Now I'm raising my grandson, Hayden, and taking care of Hayden. Me and my wife Linda, and I am married, and I love my wife very, very much. And if it wasn't for Linda, Barsky probably wouldn't even be here. Okay, she taught me and showed me things that I didn't even know existed. That if and her what she's got right in here in her heart, brother, she makes up. She's got a heart as big as this house, and it makes up. It don't matter. and she showed me ways to do stuff in my diabetes. I got it hid, but I'm on it. She got me on an insulin pump. I would have been dead from diabetes years ago. Diabetes would have got me. It got 2 of my toes. Okay, she helped me through that. And most of the guys now has lost their either this leg, or I got both of my legs, and I thank God for that. Yeah. I got like I said, I told you earlier, I'll be 65, and brother, I can still walk, I can still talk, mm-hmm. I can still get around. I take care of 3 acres here.
Oh yeah.
And I got a riding lawnmower, but this land eats riding lawnmowers for lunch. It's rock, solid rock. Everything's paid for. I'm not. She is my. Linda's my blessing. She is my blessing. But I don't know. I wanted to get that stuff in too. Go on, give me another question if you want to.
Have you watched the documentary series on Vice about Dark Side of the Ring? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard about it. All right, have you got the list of all of them there? How many of them?
Questions? Or,
no.
Or just the series?
How many is in the Dark Side?
There's I think they did 6 the first season, but I'm only touching on like the big ones. I know that you were definitely Brody and the Von Erichs.
All right, let me go and let me get the Von Erichs. And I'm gonna and I told you, brother, that I ain't gonna lie. I'm not going. I ain't here to lie. If I was here to lie, I would not do it. I would not do it. So with that being said, the deal they had on there about the Von Erichs, and it's so. Kevin was on there, and my hats off to Kevin, and I want to tell everybody that I love Kevin, but I don't love Kevin. I never have loved him. I don't have a lot of respect for him, but I do respect him that he wrestled and he's still alive. That's number one good thing for him and his family, more especially. But for him and David Manning to sit there and on that thing and candy coat it. And I think Akbar was on there. It's like we worked for Fritz Von Erich. Okay, Fritz Von Erich was my idol. Fritz Von Erich was like a god to me and my daddy. I went and watched Fritz Von Erich at Northside Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas, before wrestling was wrestling. Okay, and I loved them boys. When I found out that I had a chance of maybe being able to wrestle with them boys, it was an honor. But then I find out that it's not such an honor to be in a ring with them, because they come to the ring stoned, okay, and then you have to wind up putting holds on yourself to make them look good. And then you have to take care of them in the bars. You have to cover for them in Japan. You have to cover for them out on the highways. You have to cover for them. I mean, cover for them. Like, if they go screw up, you got to go take care of it. You come back, Fritz says, "Why didn't you take care of my boy?" You see what I'm saying? It's like that branding iron we had a while ago. This branding iron right here. This is my branding iron that I carried to the ring. Needless to say, you can't get it on the planes anymore. But it's got a big B right there, and it's you can see it's 3/4 inch smooth rebar. Well, it's supposed to be straight, but you can see the bend in that. And I made this covering that goes on here, but I just put this on, but you could really see the bend. But I'm in Real Rogers Coliseum, and I'm supposed to hit Kevin in the head with this branding iron and pin him 1, 2, 3. When Akbar's got the referee, and then slide the branding iron to Akbar, and then cover Kevin 1, 2, 3. Well, the first time I hit him, didn't do that because I hit him with a work, but he went like, what was that? And I said, you stupid, to myself now. To myself, I said, you stupid Von. And I drew back and hit him a little bit harder. You know, what was that? I don't know, flies or something, bro. Brother, I said, you son of, and I drew back, and brother, I bent that lady, I laid him open. But I hit him right there, and it laid him open. And he's out. He's out. I cover him 1, 2, 3. Now I live about 30 minutes from Fort Worth, Texas. Say an hour, because we had to stop and get beer and drink, and and carry on and come and I walk in my door. It's over on the other end of the property, but I walk in over there, brother, and Bart. I said, what, Fritz? What are you trying to do to my boy? Are you trying to kill my boy? What's wrong with you? I said, Fritz, if you'd have done that to him years ago when he was a little bit younger, he might have turned out a little bit better, if you know what I mean. And I hung it up. I figured I didn't have a job, right? I figured I was fired. Yeah. But no, he kept me on. But anyway, that tape with them, was just, I don't want to say just to cover up the boys, but the only one of them boys that wanted to wrestle was David, and that was worldly knowed. One of them wanted to play football. One of them wanted to throw the discus, and the youngest one didn't want to have nothing to do with none of it. Fritz told him, you could do it, or the Von Erichs will take care of the Von Erichs. And that's cool. And they took care of them all. All of them are dead, except for Kevin. The story behind David and if David had stayed alive, we'd have a territory right here to this very day. We'd be working instead of doing this right here.
And he had the title 7 days before he passed in Japan.
Right? Yeah.
According to Ric Flair's book, he says that Bruiser Brody found the body and removed some evidence in the room.
Bruiser Brody, okay. What happened was David, he liked Quaaludes, okay? Wafer things about that ground, he would take and break them into 4 quarters. And after he'd wrestle, he would take one because it was pain. We had a lot of pain, and we was always looking for something to kill the pain. Well, he would get them breaking little quarter, okay? Take it and then drink Jack Daniels or Crown Royal or whatever he could get his hands on, whiskey wise. That's what he done. Well, he got over there. He snuck them in somehow. No, I don't know how. Who knows? But he got them in. Okay, and then he couldn't find it was late. He went and wrestled, come back, was going to, like he does in the United States, he had broke one off, put it in it, couldn't find no whiskey. So he got sake. He go down to the corner thing, drop 300-400 yang in a Coke machine looking deal, and you get 3 liters of sake if you want it. Yeah. Sake is like 100 times stronger than anything we got. He started drinking the dadgum sake. It went and mixed with that, and it blew up. Now that they said he gastric blew up or something, and then Frank went in there and flushed all the, because Frank was working for Fritz. I can't remember for sure if I was over there, but I remember what I remember about it is Fritz let him stay in the room for like 2 weeks before he could get his butt over there. And it takes like 24 hours to fly over there, and then 24 hours to fly back. Whatever the reasons, the Japs turned the AC off in the room. David swoked up 3 times its size because it was like 145, 50 degrees, and it's dead summer, hotter than it is here. And we're in Texas, but anyway. If like I say, if David would have lived, we would have a territory right here. I know we would. Yeah. But That didn't happen. And then for this is what I found out about, and I'm gonna tell this story. You can at Starrcade. First night I was there, we went down out of the motel room down to have pizza with Johnny Mantell and Kay and Kevin Sullivan was there. He's an old time friend. The dude Mike, the muscle building dude. Anyway, Johnny Mantell says he wants to tell me a story. And I said, what is this story about? He said, it's about Channel 11 and Channel 26. And the Superstation. I said, well, the Superstation is TBS. He said, no, I'm talking about 15 years before that. When David had just died. Okay? Fritz had a meeting with Channel 11 and Channel 26 to become the Superstation. Worldwide. Okay, if this would have happened, Fritz would have been the Vince McMahon right now, or his family would have been. You understand what I'm saying? They had the meeting to make it Superstation, but Dave had just died. Okay, when Dave died, he had that meeting. He come back out of that meeting. Of course, Bronco Lubitsch, Akbar, David Manning was there, and Fritz turned around and looks at him and says, "My two boys, they can't go worldwide. They can go statewide. They may be able to go nationwide. They can't go worldwide. They can't handle it. No. The answer is no. Go tell them no." That was the end of it. Shot down the tubes. If that would have happened, if Fritz had said one word, yes, and Dave had lived, it would be this Dallas would be Connecticut of professional wrestling
Right now.
Right now. If it one word, no, yes. Instead of saying no, say yes. He didn't do it because he did not think that his boys could go nationwide. So all I'm saying, we don't, to the guys out there that work for the Von Erichs, we don't work for them anymore. I sat down there at Starrcade on Sunday, the weekend after Thanksgiving, and I sit there and I listened to the Freebirds, and I listened about the Von Erichs. I listened, brother, you was there too.
Yes,
I was sitting right there, and I sat right there. I did my introduction. I kept my mouth shut. And then I said, I can't, Eric Emery was talking. So Eric, you come in to steal. You come in to take the Von Erichs. You come in to take the territory for the Tennessee territory. That's why you come in. That's why you come in and I don't know Gary Young started about the same time. But anyway, and to sit there, I said, you guys come in when the territory was already on fire. And everybody was working their butts off, and the Freebirds come in, put them with and it popped. I mean, it popped. It was a big deal, and God bless, and it was a big thing. I come to the son of a gun, and I get it dropped on top of my bag, and I'm the world's heavyweight champion. While Chris Adams is on the knocking out a dadgum co-pilot and getting deported back to England. Okay, I get it dropped on my bag. And say, Bart, you're the champ. I said, thank you a lot, George. I appreciate that, but where did I win this belt? How did I get that? What is the... He said, you're the hottest thing I got off TBS, and this is the way it is. You're the champ. And I had to take it, me and Mike Davis, Tommy Lane, Matt Bourne, Buzz Sawyer, Percy Pringle, which was Paul Bearer, the whole... not just me. Lance Von Erich was here. Steve Simpson and his family was here. We had a good crew, and within riding that horse around that dadgum ring, and they wouldn't let me let the horse out on the property, so the horse just tore the horse trailer up. Tore the horse taste to pieces. I had to sell it. Matter of fact, for junk. But I dedicated. That was to sit there and listen to that, knowing that when the territory's here, boy, you can make money. But try to make it when it's down here. Try to bring it up. And guys out there knows what I'm talking about because they've been there and they've done that. They know what I'm talking about coming into a territory and having to bring it up and do this and do that. We don't work for the Von Erichs no more, so we don't have to candy coat the dadgum thing. They can take it and right up their gazoo. As far as I'm concerned, I did what I said I could do. I'll take that belt and I'll try to make this. We was averaging $1,500 a night, 7 nights a week. Within 6 months, we was averaging $10,000 a night. And yeah, they snorted it straight up their nose. $70,000. I averaged it out to about $70,000. Around $70,000 a week is what they were making. But if they would have,
One thing about, because you had a lot with Kerry Von Erich, too. You had so many matches with him. You had some of his last matches before he went to WWF.
Yeah.
You had matches with him in WWF, and you actually had his last match ever.
Ever had. The last one. We were doing okay business, but it wasn't. It could be better. We had a Von Erich. It was just Kerry's coming back. Well, he come back. Well, we do a deal where no matter what, if I'm out there, if I'm in the building, I'm cutting an interview, starting to do anything, Kerry jumps me and knock down, drag out all the way out to the parking lot, all the way down Main Street, all the way back down to downtown Dallas. That's how serious it was. If he was out there doing anything, I went out there, jumped his butt. This went on for a month. Okay, every Friday night at the Sportatorium. And then we're starting it with a gimmick match. Mm-hmm. The gimmick match is the cage match. They put us in a cage because they can't do nothing else with us that quick. Put us in a cage. First one out the door. Picture. I got that picture right up there somewhere, but it don't matter. Mm-hmm. I'm coming out on the floor with my head up in the camera. He's up in the ring, standing up, and you can see his head and you can see my upper body. I'm getting my hand raised, bloody, and he's bloody. Well, he's got a little pap smear. He ain't bloody. And nobody has beat a Von Erich in a cage match. Nobody, nowhere, no way, no shape, no form. And he goes out that night with his wife and he asks, can he get together back with his wife? And his wife tells him no. There's no way, Jose, no way. He writes on the tablecloth of the tomorrow I walk with my brothers. He wrote it on a tablecloth. They got it somewhere. Went out to his father's ranch and told his father, take Jeep out and I'll be back. Took 44 Magnum, right there, pow, blowed in about that big around, blowed out about that big around. No heart. It's the end of, and he could, boy, if he could have, and he had the wreck and had a half a foot. And boy, my hat was off for him for coming back from that, and he did. He had a half a foot, but he wouldn't take that boot off. And Jerry Lawler took it off in Memphis in a match, and Kerry went under the ring, popped it back on, got up in the ring and just stomped the living, out of the boy. I laughed. Yeah. Need to say I don't like Jerry Lawler, but I don't. Not that I don't like him. He's just not a very good businessman. That's all. But Kerry was man. We could have made money with Kerry, and listen to you and talk and have respect. Kevin told me when I first took the belt, Kevin, he walking by me in a hallway. I had the belt on, been taking pictures with the belt or something. He said, "You know that's my belt." I said, "It's your belt if you take it." Kept walking. Everything about me, I'm a worker. I'm not a shooter, but I was. Yeah, if you can take it, you can have it back. You can take it. He said, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble." No, I'm the world heavyweight champion. It's his belt. Blah blah blah. I know. I already know this. I know it's his belt. I come in. I think they're. I love their daddy, and I love working for their daddy, and I love them pretty much like they're my brothers. But I can't show that because I can't beat them up if I love them. But I love them. That's the reason I was beating them up, trying to beat some sense into them. We got to the Cotton Bowl. I held the belt for 13 months, not no 3 months, not no 2 months, not nothing like that. But we wind up in the Cotton Bowl, 45 degrees, drizzling rain, cold. And I hear we sold out the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, that's what I hear. But I found out that all Fritz rents is like a quarter of that Cotton Bowl. But it's sold out. Whatever he rented, it's sold out. And we got help on the card. Abdullah against Frank, and the other guys had I think the RPMs was against the Fantastics. Had a heck of a card anyway. When I got there, I got there about 12 o'clock, and we start going over the finish. Well, actually, our match. Well, it's earlier than that because it's in the daytime. We're there like 8 or 9 hours, and we're going over the finish, trying to get the finish. Well, when I go to the ring, I still ain't got no finish. I'm gonna give him the belt back regardless. I'm getting ready to go back to the Carolinas. And I did, but he got in the ring and said, "Let's go home." And I said, "No, you don't." I said, we go home when I say go home, brother. And he's getting a little pair of briefs, barefooted, 45 degrees, drizzling rain, colder than a witch's tit, boy. And Fritz, in the beginning of the match, Fritz is there. And I walk around and I kick it Fritz. And Fritz is kind of like, I'll go around again, I kick at him again to the ropes, I kick at him, get a little closer. I come around that third time, I kicked at him, he moved a little bit, but he didn't do anything. I come around again, he's up on that apron, brother, and he's doing this. That right there, straight up in there, just like that right there. And he's that gum crowd, brother, went nuts. I mean, they went ape. I thought they were gonna grab him and take him out of there. I said, man, oh man, is that old guy over? Or is that old guy over? I would have rather done the match with Fritz, but I told him around the second time, about the fifth time I went around, he's still up there. I said, Fritz, got close enough where he could hear me. I said, Fritz, if you'll just get down off that apron, brother, I won't kick at you. I won't speak to you. I won't say one word to you because I was so scared if he put that claw on me, brother, he'd pop my head like he did Bull Curry back in the day. And it just scared me to death. Then here come Kevin, and I come back to reality.
You had already touched on Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
Just going back to how we talk about the documentary and
I don't want to. I don't want to get. I don't know how you. Me and Frank were good friends. All right. Nobody, and I would like to try to say this without names, but gonna have to say names because, in the documentary, Dutch Mantell says he left the dressing room and he probably told the truth. Okay, because the deal we was told was nobody went in there to help. Nobody went in there to help Frank. That Mexican, he went and wrestled for about 45 minutes, went in the shower room, knifed him 4 times straight in the guts, 3-4 times back and forth, and turned around and walked out of that dressing room. It's got a plastic covering over, and you can see everything going in from the dressing room. See everything going on in there. Okay, and they left. Not one American boy went in there to help Frank. Not one. And Tony Atlas says he held Frank's guts in. Well, Tony, that's a bald-faced lie. And I know because I was over there for 2 weeks. It is a horrifying place. And I say this to anybody that's listening that's going over there, even just going over there to take a vacation. I wouldn't spend 2 cents to take a vacation in that. It's horrible. You stop at a stop sign, you can't. You just run it. You run it, or a red light. You run it because the gangs have jerk your cars open and jerk you out of the cars and steal your car. They tell you go down to the beach, but leave by 4:30 or 5 because that's when the gangs take over the beach. You know, it's this. I was over there for 2 weeks. The only place that ever put me over against 2 guys at the same time on TV for their anniversary show. Well, they didn't tell me, but 2 weeks before their anniversary show, we didn't work and we didn't get paid, but we still had to pay rent and we still had to eat and we still had to still drink water or pop or whatever and to survive. So I said, no, y'all flying me home. Mm-hmm. And they already owed me like $2,000, and they flew me home on a cash ticket. And when I got to DFW, I said, "How much is left on that ticket?" She said, $2,000. I said, "I'll cash that in." I ain't been back and ain't going back. But when I did show up over there, this is after this. That I'm sitting there. I carry a big buck knife in my bag. I will sharpen knives. I sharpen Dusty's knives and Gorilla Monsoon. I sharpen. I love knives. I kept everybody's knives sharp. Mm-hmm. And I sit down in my bag my first night over on that rock, and I'm sitting there, and that brother comes in and sits down beside me, and I said, "You ain't the only SOB that can carry a knife, buddy. I can too." You know, told. I didn't never see him again. They told him, Brody was a god in Japan. They sent word, the mafia in Japan sent word to the Puerto Rico mafia. Said if that Spanish guy leaves that rock, he's a dead man. So, as far as I know, he ain't there left. No. So I don't know, but there's certain things that in this business that can take. I've seen a lot of. I've been in a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things, but when it's so blatant and it ain't true, you don't. The business can be such a lie as it already is. Mm-hmm. Except to me, it's not a lie. To me, it's not acting. It's an art form. It is a sport. But once your body gets used to that sport, just like any other sport, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You step out of that sport and try to do another sport and see what happens to you. You'll be blowed up within minutes. But anyway, I want to say this. I don't mean to step. I don't mean to step on nobody's toes. But if it's the truth, go and tell it. If it ain't the truth, don't tell a bald-faced lie, and that more especially that people know that it's a lie. Yeah, it's a lie. And that's it. It's this way. It's tell the truth. Yeah. But I don't know. You want to?
I've got just like very small things after that. Right. Is there anything else you want to say about Brody? No. I don't want to. I don't know his memory or how people that didn't know him.
Frank Goodish would whoop your. And that's the way he was, and you took him that way. And if you didn't, you just stay away from him because. But he was a good man. He liked some stuff that other people didn't like, but he didn't force nobody. He didn't try to force anything on anybody. And to me, and my knowing of him, I knowed him when I was training. He would come over and give us pointers while I was training, and to me, he was a great man, and for what it's worth, and I believe Frank would have told the truth if he could talk right now. He'd tell the truth. Yeah. He'd tell the truth about it, and he wouldn't candy coat nothing. I guarantee you he wouldn't. But Frank was a good guy, and most of the guys that took the time to get to know him found out he was a good guy, and I'm glad I got to know him. So I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir. I can't get away without talking about your time in the WWF when you went up there, and
well, I was supposed to. I got a call that I had a 3-day tryout up there. Well, for that 3-day tryout, I'm supposed to give away. As soon as Jimmy Crockett finds out that I'm doing a 3-day tryout for the opposition, I'm fired. If the 3-day tryout don't go good, then I ain't got a job. Yeah. And I said, I'm not going. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna jeopardize 20-something years of my life for a 3-day tryout. I ain't gonna do it. Well, I find out about 2 or 3 years later that they wanted my wife Bonnie as Sarah Jo Puckett, which she died about 20 years ago, 15 or 20 years ago. She wanted her as Sarah Jo Puckett, wanted me as Black Bart, wanted to put Bass and me back together as the Long Riders with J.J. Dillon as our manager to go against Beefcakes and Blackjack Mulligan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when I finally went up there, it was a long time before he wanted me to go up there. So I worked 13 months in the WWF, which is a WWE now. I made top dollar. I made a ton of money. And 3 days before Desert Storm, he called me and 16 other guys in, one at a time, and give us our notice. And he told me at the end of our third meeting for that day. Now it's on Wednesday, and we're at TVs, and you got to be there at 11 o'clock in the morning, and you're there to 2 or 3 o'clock in the next morning. He told me, he said, if you'd come up here when I wanted you, you'd be a road agent. You'd be making over $1 million a year right now. And I said, brother, hindsight's 20/20. I thought I'd done the right thing. And to this very day, if I wouldn't, I may not have what I got now if I'd have went up there and just kept blowing my money. But and another thing, it's funny how you can trigger stuff that happened. Mm-hmm. So it meant so much to me. If I'd have went, not only I'd have had to wrestle him every night, and then after the angle's over with, I'd still be having put up with Vince McMahon and all of his crap that goes along with Vince McMahon and his production, promotion, whatever. But it's the business ain't sometimes what it seems. So sometimes you gotta have eyes in the back of your head.
Did you have any reluctance going up there? Were you weary of how maybe some of the other guys from like NWA were used or portrayed? Did you know going in, this is how it's going to be?
I went up there thinking I was going to be pushed. And the first match I had, Lee Pete was in the dressing room. There's two guys, Lee Pete and Alan Martin. were the two best jobbers in the business, brother. They were excellent. And they asked me my first night, my first TV. They said, out of this whole building, other than the superstars, who would you pick to go over on? I said Alan Martin, because he's the best. I said, well, he ain't here. I said, well, Lee Pete. He said, he is here. I said, I'll take him. So we went out to the ring. We went out there and had the match. Boom, 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 boom. And I'd go up to the top, drop the Texas compactor on him. But when I dropped that Texas compactor on him, I didn't realize them rings were like jumping off on a concrete slab, brother.
Really?
No give, no bounce, no nothing. Just solid rock. Because they had Andre the Giant. They had the guy from Canada.
Earthquake.
They had Fred.
Yeah.
All them guys are over 450. Every one of them. Not including the other ones that Warlord was up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hit that, brother. Bam! I hit that compactor and I dropped it on him. Boy, I felt it in my back. Well, you're supposed to get up and go, yeah, Texas, yeah. I can't move. And I'm doing. It's kind of like he won. Yeah. But they getting him out of the ring. While they're getting him out of the ring, I'm eaching over to the side of the ring. But I get over to the edge of the ring under the ropes and I set up. And when I set up, all my legs and everything start tingling like sticking pins all, like getting, like I'm getting feeling back in them. And I stand up and I said, there ain't no use in doing it now. So as soon as I walk in the door, brother, the dressing room door back there, JJ standing, you're supposed to do and you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And I grabbed him and I pulled him and I said, I couldn't, son of a SOB, because I was paralyzed from the neck down. Why didn't you tell me these dead gum ring? And I was in the ring, but I didn't take a whole lot of bumps. The brother was taking all the bumps. I could fit, the ring felt fine. But you don't, solid as a rock, brother. I said, uh-oh, something's wrong. Forget that. I ain't standing up right now. So and then I knew, the only reason that Vince McMahon, and I worked up there another 13 months, I was made top pay. I was making top pay, but I never went higher than maybe 5th or 6th on the card. Okay, because 5th or 6th was the lull of the card. In other words, the fans would be getting bored by this time. Okay, and they got another 4 or 5 matches to go, maybe 6 or 7 more matches to go. And so Blackjack Lanza went and told McMahon that he wanted me on all his cards, put Bart on there, but put me on 6th or 7th match. And that way, because I could activate a crowd. And he did not want me getting over, and I was. He would not let me cut an interview, because he knew if he let me, I cut one interview for the WrestleMania of that year, whatever year that, I think it was in 90. The WrestleMania, I cut one interview. And it was an interview for if anybody on the card didn't want to do the job, I was to step in and do the job, and I would be on whatever part of WrestleMania that was supposed to be. I cut an interview. It's the only one I ever cut up there. And the announcer dude was with us out in the Carolinas. He said, Bart, you're one of the best interviewers in the business. I said, brother, he won't not let me cut no interviews. He said, why? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. And eventually I did. I was brought up there to be showed that how much money I could have made if I'd have come up there when he wanted me, when Bass lost that hair match. Okay? Wanted my wife, Sergio Puckett, against Beefcakes and Blackjack Mulligan, and put the world strap on us and all the way. But no, Bart stayed his butt in the Carolinas. That didn't last very much longer after that. What, 10, maybe 12 years, 15 years, something like that. I don't know. But it was it was unbelievable. I done nothing but jobs for 13 months, like I said, except for that one match. Everything else, and unless every now, I'll take that back here, because every now and then I'd be in a tag situation. They would give me the guys would go and say, "Listen, Bart, get boom, 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 and you scoot, and then we'll beat you. We'll beat this guy."
Yeah.
And that was the highlight of my span up there. It was like when I got my notice. It was a relief off of me. It was a relief off of me, and not only did I cry, my wife cried, not because that she was sorry that I wouldn't be bringing that money home. She was crying the same reason, because of the pressure was gone. It was a relief. But I hear my kid, we're gonna have to end this thing, brother.
You got it. You got it. Anything you want to say to?
Yeah, the fans that see this and to hear it, do whatever you got to do it, to see it. I've done this from my heart, and I've done it because I wanted to do it. I wanted to get something out there that everybody that knows me, and a little something else something we ain't touched on that I'd like to touch on real quick is Stevie Ray and Booker T.
Yes.
I haven't. I know you guys think that I have forgotten, but old Bart is just like an elephant. I don't forget nothing. I remember all the rides back and forth from the Sportatorium. Bart, make that call to Dusty Rhodes. We'll get you a brand new bass boat. Well, boys, I'm still waiting on that stinking bass boat. And guess what? There ain't a dadgum thing you can do about it. About them belts, both of them belts were bought to me, were given to me as presented to me in front of a building full of people, and it was like a honorary gift. I don't know how, but I want to touch on a little bit about the booze and the guys, and a little bit on the steroids. And I bet you I trained probably in my career. I probably trained now there's a difference in students. Students is a guy you get greener than owl poo, and he comes up to you and says, "I want to wrestle." Okay, you say, "I'll train you for this amount of money. I'll train you. Let's go." Me, I never got a down payment. It's $75. Okay, I got paid that $75 in pennies, in all kinds of ways. Okay, but and another group of guys that you get that have been trained, but they haven't been in front of a big audience. So you got to teach them ring savvy. You got to teach them audience, how to bring them up and set them down, bring them up and set them down. And if you couldn't do that when I was wrestling, you didn't have a job. Okay. And the heel called the match. Babyface kept his mouth shut and said, "Yes, sir, and no, sir, and thank you very much, sir, for giving me that spot." Okay? Then were guys we got, like when me and Bass was in WCW, we got the Road Warriors, we got Rick Rude, we got the Steiner brothers, we got Sting, we got the Ultimate Warrior, guys that had to be polished. I mean, that's polished is the right word. And they would stay with us for anywhere from 6 to 7 months. And then, like when we got the Road Warriors, they were in cut-off blue jeans, and they were in combat boots. When we got done with them, they were wearing spiked with big old giant boots, and they were let's go, you know. But it's the kind of guy that you train from the get go, and the guy that comes polished, and then that needs polish, that needs polish, has to be put in front of the crowd, and that's what me and Bass's jobs was. When after we carried the Mid-Atlantic belts, I was a brass knucks heavyweight champion everywhere I went. I was a Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. After we got done with that, and we were still on contract, you had to do what you said to do, and pretty much it. And I probably I probably got all the way away from that one, but I spent from the 5th grade till 13 years of playing football, working out every day, doing and boom and bam and working out and doing that, and for nothing. Okay, and that's pretty much what I thought about working out. If you go to the gym and you work out, don't let me forget about where I was.
Yeah.
I want to get this in about about drugs, about steroids, and if you go into don't do the steroids because they kill you. Almost all my friends that done steroids back in the day are dead. I'll be 65 January the 30th. I'll be 65. I have a hard time sometimes remembering stuff, and I drank a lot, and I've done a lot of the bad drugs, but I knew you gotta know when to say when. You gotta know when to say, that's it, I don't want to do it no more. You know, there's a better way to go. There's a better way that I can do this. You know, and I'll get this in too. Jesus Christ is that way, brother. I'm a believer, and I believe in that with all my heart, and I believe anybody that says that asks for forgiveness and believe in Jesus Christ, we'll all go to heaven, and I want all of us to go together. But the steroids, and if you think you got to take steroids to be a superstar, you don't have to take steroids. Look at Shawn Michaels. How many steroids you think he done? I cannot remember. Now, one time he looked pretty buff, but I think he was doing it I don't think he was doing it with steroids. But if he was, I think he was doing it. He was doing it where it wasn't as a drug to get somewhere else.
He wasn't abusing it.
Right. I don't think he was abusing the drug. And if there is a can you drink 3 or 4 beers, or do I need 30 or 40 beers? Understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can drink 3 or 4, and that's plenty for the way I look at it. Or I don't want nothing to do with none of it. You know, because a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this leads to a whole bunch of this. You know, does that make sense? Yeah. And to get to that point where it's that so much you can't deal with, don't do the 1 or 2 things. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Say no to all of it. It was built for Florida, not the Carolinas. But when we left Florida as a group, we left Florida to go back to the NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions, which was fixing to be WCW.
Yes. Okay?
When that, man, I didn't, timing is critical. That 3 weeks in Japan is like, bam, it's right there. Me and Raging Bull sitting out in the hallway playing poker, drinking. They got Coke machines that's like beer machines. You just put your yang in there, cold beer falls out, boom, bitty, boom, diddy, and all night long, every night, playing cards, getting drunk, going back to my room and my clothes and my tights and everything tied in triple knots. Oh yeah. Because I'd leave my room open for the guys to go to the restroom if they needed to go to the restroom. So they'd go down there and rib me and time all my so I'd spend the rest, when the game was over, I'd go spend untying my shit and getting it ready to be where I could wrestle the next night. But anyway, yeah, it sticks out in my mind. Dusty Rhodes is the man that named all these shows, all these big shows that you see now. Dusty Rhodes named them. Way back then, he named them. And Dusty Rhodes said, now this is when we was running around in cars, and he said, he got us all together and said, listen guys, listen, says for too long, you're going to be signed on a contract. And on that contract, ain't going to be you ain't going to be doing nothing but TVs. You ain't going to be doing nothing but pay-per-views. Right now, in a month's time, we would work 60, 70 times in a month. 80 times in a month that's how many times we worked. You know, that was just the way. Now, if they have to work 20 times in a month, they bitch and rap and moan and complain. You understand what I'm saying? And they make 5 times what we made. But it's okay. We're the ones that blazed that territory. We went into that other era of the Bunkhouse Stampede stuff.
Yes.
Well, the first Bunkhouse Stampede was simulcast from Atlanta, Georgia, the Omni, and Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay, but it was simulcast to 7 other states, and then when that happened. That's when we knew that we had Vince by the yang yang, because he couldn't match it. He couldn't match it. And how I don't know. I don't know television. I know how to do a TV taping and all that, and how to put it together, and I know how to do the matches. But when it comes to the I guess I don't know how it becomes simulcast, or I don't know how I know how it comes from simulcast. I don't know how do you get from local TV to nationwide TV to worldwide TV. I don't know all that, but I know how to take like 12 matches or 15 matches and put it on a 1-hour platform and make TV our TV taping out of it. I know how to do that.
Yes.
But the other part is the part that I have a hard time, you know, and for them to be broadcasting from this building and broadcasting from this building, first match, second match, third match, fourth match, fifth match, all the way up the card, and being simulcast to 7 other states at the Coliseum with them standing there watching the big monitor, the big television screen. Wow, you know what? You know, was Dusty Rhodes right, or was he was right? Yeah. You know, this is what it's come to. We can't even figure out in our minds, that how. And I know how. Money. That's money. That's what counts. And when you lay it, and pretty much when you lay it, it's how much money Vince had. It's how much money Ted Turner had. But Ted Turner wasn't really. I don't think he really wanted to go to battle. He didn't want to. He didn't want to, get in there and just duke it out. He wanted to say, I can overpower him this way, overpower him. And when it come right down to the nut cutting, he didn't have no nuts. You know, if he would have stood up and say, "Okay, guys, bring it," we'd all stood right there and say, "You bring it." It's like they show that deal of them the WWF guys coming up in the tank with Triple H. They coming up down the tunnel. Well, that tunnel they're showing is the scope, North Fork scope. Yeah. And they're pounding on the door, but nobody answers. They're pounding on the door, but nobody answers. They pounding on the door, but there's nobody in there. That's they're inside, they're hiding, but we can't get to them right now. We'll get to them later. And they did. They got to us later. All right. Vince McMahon was coming up the underside, and he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, and heck of a place to work, brother.
Yeah.
I don't know. It won't never be another WCW. Okay. We had our levels and we had our cliques, but when it come down to, we would fight. We would fight for each other, you know. And they would on a certain levels, we'd hurt somebody if it come down to it. We'd hurt somebody.